What's the pettiest but most professional way you've ever quit? Around 12 years ago, I worked for a small software company that paid well enough but had an awful work environment. The people were fine, but management was something else. From the start, it felt off, but I stuck around because the job market wasn't great, and the promise of a good raise after a year kept me going. When I was hired, the manager told me they were looking for a mid-level developer. During the interview, he realized I had senior-level experience and said, "We've never hired someone at your level before. I'm not sure what to offer." He decided to start me at a mid-level salary with the promise of a 6 to 12% raise after a year, depending on performance. I had it in writing, so I agreed. The first few months went smoothly. I worked on a mix of old and new projects. The legacy code was a disaster. Thousands of lines of copy-pasted logic, but I started cleaning it up, organizing things properly, and introducing real structure. I even got the team to move from a basic text editor to Eclipse, which made everyone's life easier. One coworker even joked, "They'll have to pry this IDE from my cold, dead hands." I also pushed for proper source control. Up until then, everyone was editing code from the same shared network folder. No version history, no branches, nothing. My coworker Z and I even offered to repurpose one of the old PCs as a test server just to show how it would work. The manager refused. He said it was too complicated and not necessary. The company was busy that year. Deadlines, customer data conversions, new features, it was non-stop. My review got delayed, but I didn't mind at first. I figured they'd make it up when the time came. 5 months after my anniversary, I finally had my review. It was glowing. The manager praised my technical skills, problem solving, and teamwork. He said the new system wouldn't be where it was without me. Then he said my raise was 0. He explained, "You haven't really mastered the legacy software, and I can't justify a raise to the owner without that." I reminded him that I'd been assigned almost exclusively to new projects. He shrugged and said, "There was always time." I left that meeting stunned. Z couldn't believe it when I told him. Another older developer just sighed and said, "That's not the first time it's happened here." I dug up the email from before I was hired that clearly laid out the promised raise and forwarded it to my manager. He normally replied in minutes. This time, it took days. When he finally responded, he twisted his words, claiming the raise depended on how things went overall for the company, not for me. That was the moment I knew it was time to go. I started calling back the recruiters I'd been ignoring. Within 2 weeks, I had an offer at another company. Same base pay, better benefits, annual bonuses, and half the commute. I accepted immediately, with a start date right after my 2-week vacation. Meanwhile, my current company started attending job fairs to hire new grads. They were even talking about implementing source control now, the same idea they'd dismissed when I suggested it. I couldn't help but laugh. The day before my vacation, I went to the CTO's office and handed him my resignation letter. He looked surprised. "We usually expect a 2-week transition before someone leaves," he said. "I understand," I told him, "but I gave this company a year of hard work, and when my review finally came, I got nothing. I think this timing is fair." He paused, then said something strange. X doesn't really share very well. I wasn't sure if he meant my manager kept things from him or if they were all in on it. Either way, I was done. When I told my manager, he sighed and said, "I guess I'm the bad guy here." Then with no hint of remorse, he added, "But we did get what we needed from you." That told me everything I needed to know. His bonus was probably tied to cost control. I was driving an old car, and he just bought himself a brand new SUV. I packed up my desk that afternoon, wished my team well, and left. The next morning, while they scrambled to figure out how to cover my work, I was already on a plane, heading out for my vacation without a care in the world. A few years later, I was working just a couple of miles from that company when a coworker mentioned he was interviewing there. He said one of the interviewers was Z, my old teammate. I told him, "Z's a great guy, but if X is still there, don't bother." A few days later, my coworker came back laughing. "Z remembered you," he said. "He told me you were one of the best developers they had. Said X screwed you over. The new girl says she can always tell when she's working with your code. It's just cleaner." He didn't take the job, and I couldn't blame him. Knowing that my work still stood out and that they lost me because of one greedy decision was satisfaction enough. They got what they wanted from me, but I got the last laugh.